Resourceful Designer, episode 286. Forget what they want. Give your design clients what they need.
Welcome to the Resourceful Designer Podcast, offering solutions to streamline your graphic and web design business so you can get back to designing. And now your host, who's extremely slow at thumb typing on his phone, Mark Dickout.
Yep, I watch the younger generation typing away on their phones, and it amazes me just how fast they are. I guess, well, you can say that when it comes to typing on my phone, I'm all thumbs. Ba-dum-bump. Anyway, in this week's episode, I'm going to talk about how when you're working with clients, you shouldn't always do what they want you to do. Instead, you should be doing what they need you to do. But before I get to that, I just want to talk a little bit about the Resourceful Designer community. We had several new members join the community over the last month, and we're currently in the process of getting to know them, getting a feel for their business, where they're at, what their goals are, and this is great. I see lots of interaction, new people interacting with the older people, or older meaning the people that have been in the community for a while, and it is just great. These members, they're growing, they're interacting, the community is thriving, and I can't think of a better place for designers to interact and grow their business with the help of other like-minded people. Now, if you would like to be a part of this, part of an amazing assortment of people who are doing exactly what you want to be doing, then why don't you consider joining the community? Visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community and join today. And now, forget what they want. Give your design clients what they need. Wants and needs. What an interesting juxtaposition. I want a new sword for my collection, but I don't need another sword. I want a cheeseburger and poutine for supper, but I don't need all that fat or those calories. I want enough money to do whatever I want to do in life. However, I only actually need enough money to cover my expenses. Wants and needs. They govern a lot of our decisions, don't they? But what about you and your design business? How do wants and needs factor in to what you do for your clients? As a design business owner, your goal should be to make money. After all, businesses that don't make money don't remain businesses for very long. Sure, it's great to do some pro bono work from time to time, but I don't know of many designers who cherish working for free. No, you want to make money so that you can pay your bills, so you can support your family, take vacations, and perhaps even indulge yourself from time to time. Heck, I recently bought myself a lightsaber just because I could, hence why I don't really need a new sword. And of course, to make money, you need to charge your clients for the services you offer them. And the more clients you have, the more design work you do, the more money you make. Makes sense, doesn't it? As a business owner, a design business owner, it can be very tempting to simply give clients what they want in order to make a sale. And what I mean by this is when a client comes to you saying something like, I know exactly what I want, or they bring you a sketch and say, can you design this? Or they give you an idea and say, can you create that for me? Well, you know darn well that you can, and it would be easy money. And so many designers across the globe work this exact way. They do exactly what the clients want them to do. But the problem is, there are so many clients that don't always know what it is they want, or what they think they want may not actually be the best option for them because they don't know what the alternatives are. And adopting a strategy of simply designing what your clients want you to design is not conducive to growing a successful design business. Yes, you may get work. You may even get lucrative work. But your business will eventually reach some sort of cap if all you ever do is exactly what your clients ask you to do. In order to be truly successful, you need to figure out how to deliver what your clients need and not simply what they want. Now, don't get me wrong. You'll have clients whose wants and needs are in line with each other. Those who are business savvy and understand what is required for their businesses to grow. And believe me, you'll enjoy working with these clients because you'll be able to communicate with them on an even level. However, there are many clients who don't understand that their wants and needs may be different. I find this especially true with newer entrepreneurs. People who have maybe left corporate life and have finally decided to start their own business. They're new to this whole working for yourself thing. Well, they'll often get their ideas from what other people are doing, what they see on social media, what they see their friends doing or other businesses doing. And they'll falsely think that they'll experience the exact same success if they do the exact same thing. If so-and-so grew their business by sending out postcards, then I should send out postcards as well. Well, that's not the proper way to think about or grow a business. And yes, giving clients what they want might make them happy in the short term. They'll be very happy that you designed the postcards for them, but they'll eventually realize that it doesn't actually solve whatever problem it is they're trying to fix. And clients always come to you, a designer, to fix a problem, whether they know it or not. I mean, that's what we do as designers. We're problem solvers. And simply doing what the client asks you to do can lead to unfulfilled expectations and frustrations on the part of the client. I spent good money on these postcards. Why aren't they working? Why isn't my business growing? It's because postcards might not have been what the client actually needed. You see, your job as a designer is not to fulfill your client's every desire or to create to their every whim. It's about understanding their needs and their business's needs and addressing them in a way that meets those needs and exceeds the client's expectations. When you actually give a client what they need, you are helping them achieve their goals and to solve their problems. And when you manage that, your client will see you in a whole new light, and they'll want to do more work with you, which in turn will grow your business. Now, does this mean you ignore what the client wants? Of course not. The key here is to balance between the two, what the client wants and what will work best for their business. For example, a client may want you to redesign their website because they're not getting enough traffic and sales are low. They think that getting more traffic to their site will increase their sales and solve their problem, when in fact, more traffic isn't the solution. Better qualified traffic is. Having 1,000 random people visit a website probably won't increase sales as much as attracting 100 targeted visitors to the site would. What the client wants is more visitors, but what they need is better targeted visitors. And it's your job to explain that to them. I have a hearing aid clinic as one of my clients. They've been a client for many, many years. Back when they first opened up the clinic, they were trying to build up their client list. They wanted to get as much exposure as possible. Well, one of their marketing strategies was to contact a local magazine distributor to inquire about placing ads in magazines. Well, the salesperson they talked to represented several magazines, and he convinced them that to get the widest reach possible would be by placing an ad in an outdoor life magazine. It's a magazine that covers topics such as hiking and bicycling, canoeing, kayaking, snowshoeing, and skiing in the winter, and that sort of stuff. Now, it was a fairly new magazine. It had only been out for a few months, but it had a circulation of over 500,000 copies delivered every month. Now, because the magazine was new, they were offering a special discounted price on ads, and the salesperson assured them that this was an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime deal to put their name in front of over 500,000 people. Well, the clinic called me about this great opportunity they were offered, and they were so excited to get going. And they were telling me about all this great exposures they would get. Their name would be seen by 500,000 people, and asked if I would be willing to design the full page ad for them. And when I said sure, they sent me the specifications for the magazine, or the specifications that the magazine had sent them. Well, when I received this information, I noticed that the specification sheet listed other magazines that the distributor represented. All the magazines followed a similar format, so instead of having a separate specification sheet for each magazine. They just had one that covered all the magazines. Well, one of the other magazines I saw listed was a senior living magazine. Now, for the fun of it, I actually contacted the distributor myself. I didn't tell him who I was or who I was working for. I just asked for details on placing a full-page ad in the senior living mag. Now, I was told that distribution for that mag was 100,000 copies, and that the price they quoted me was almost the exact same price as the hearing aid clinic was quoted for paying for the Outdoor Life mag for that ad. So I called my client and I asked them if I could come in and talk to them. And I presented what I knew. I explained to them that according to the documentation I received, the Outdoor Life magazine was aimed at people ages 18 to 40, people who enjoyed an active outdoor life. Whereas the Senior Living magazine was geared towards people 55 years and older, people who still wanted to get the most out of their life. And I explained that, sure, the Senior Living magazine had a distribution of 1/5 the size of the Outdoor magazine. So yes, the cost per ad, because the price was almost identical for either magazine, the cost per ad for insertion in the Senior Living magazine was 5 times the cost of the Outdoor Living magazine, the cost per individual magazine. However, I explained to them that those 100,000 people that would possibly see the Senior Living magazine, they were almost guaranteed to be in or at least approaching the target market of people who require hearing aids. If not, they were sure to know other people who may need hearing aids. Whereas the majority of the Outdoor Life magazine's target market, those were people who won't be interested in hearing aids for many years to come. So the client wanted me to design an ad for an Outdoor Life mag, but I convinced them that what they needed was an ad for the Senior Living magazine. And that's what we ended up doing. And you know what? Within weeks of their ad first appearing in that Senior Living magazine, their phone was ringing off the hook with new clients saying they saw their ad. It's so important to listen to the client and to understand what they want. But you also need to be able to explain to them that there's something else that they may need that they don't necessarily see. Putting your name in front of 500,000 people may sound great, but it doesn't really make a difference if it's not the right people. Whereas 100,000 of the right people could make your business. I had another client. This is a couple of ladies who started a subscription box. This was a fun project. They offered science experiments for kids ages 3 to 8. This was 2 women, 2 mothers, and they came to me to design their marketing material. Now, when they first approached me, they showed me sketches and layouts that they had done. And, well, how should I put this? They were juvenile? Yeah, maybe that's the best term I can use. And when I asked them about it, they said that they wanted something that would appeal to young children. They had even asked their own young kids' opinions on the sketches. Well, I stopped them right there. I asked them how many 3 to 8-year-olds could afford their monthly subscription box. And they looked at me like I was crazy. I remember one of them saying with an incredulous look on her face, "Well, the kids aren't going to pay for this, their parents are." And I looked back at her and smiled, and I said, "Exactly. So why are you marketing to the kids when you should be marketing to the parents?" Instead of explaining to young children how much fun they'll have doing these monthly science experiences or experiments, you should explain to the mothers, which are the key demographic that they were going after, how their subscription box offers something for the mother's kids to do, an educational pastime that doesn't involve looking at a screen, how the science box offers a bonding experience between the parents and the kids, how it'll improve the child's knowledge of science, which will help them in school. In other words, they should be marketing to parents who are in the exact stage of life as those 2 women are, the 2 women that were starting this business. And you know what? They had never considered that and thought it was a brilliant idea. They thought, wow, Mark is so smart. It's because they didn't have the background. They didn't have the business knowledge. and they just thought they needed to make something that appealed to the kids. Now imagine if I had simply designed what they originally brought me, what they wanted me to do in the first place. A marketing campaign aimed at 3 to 8-year-olds. That never would have worked. Yeah, what clients want and what they need are often very two different things. Especially when it comes to graphic design or website design. Oh, website design. Clients often come in with ideas of what they want their finished website to look like. They might have images or a style in mind, but usually that's where their ideas stop. It's often hard for clients to see the bigger picture of what the website can do for them. They may want something flashy looking, something that's all about them, or they see something that another website has and, oh, I want that on mine. But they may not need all those bells and whistles. As designers, we need to be able to interpret what the client wants and, give them some of it while still giving them what it is they need. And oftentimes, what clients need is someone like you who can take their vague ideas and turn them into a functioning reality. Sure, they want an attractive website, and yes, you can do that. But what they need is a website that functions and helps grow their business. Oftentimes, this means striking a balance between the two and creating something that meets both their wants and their needs. And yes, it can be a challenge, but it is important in order to create a successful final product. I know it's not always easy. With some clients, it will be easy, while with others, it may be more difficult. Sometimes, this is as simple as suggesting a different font or a different color than the ones they originally had in mind or the ones they're asking you to use. I recently did podcast artwork for a client, and I submitted 2 different designs to him for him to choose from. He really liked option 1, but he liked the font I used in option 2 and asked me, is there any way we can use that font on option 1? I told him no. The font from option 2 was way too wide, and it needed to fit a very tight space that where the design allowed it in option 1. And we needed to have a compressed font there, so the font from option 2 wouldn't work. The client wanted me to try that, but no, he needed something different for that design to work, and that's what we ended up going with. Sometimes you may need to steer them away from using way too many images or from making their website just too busy. Sometimes it's just convincing them to eliminate things that they don't actually need, things that don't actually help them. Other times you may need to suggest alternatives or maybe innovative ways to accomplish something that the client may not have even considered. A recent website client of mine wanted me to create a page on their website to list all the books that they recommend. And there was lots, dozens and dozens of books that they recommended. And they was always adding new books. They wanted me to create a page where they would just go into the page and edit that page every time, add a new paragraph for the book, add an image, and the information that goes along with the book. And I could have done that, but that was a very clunky way of doing it. So instead of doing what they wanted me to do, I created something different. I added custom fields to the website, and I created a section specifically on the website where they can go in and enter the book information. Now, whenever they have a new book that they want to recommend, all they have to do is click in their WordPress dashboard. On the left-hand side, I have in the menu, it says Create Book. They click on that. They fill out the simple form that I created for them that has all the information, the book title, the author, the image of the cover, as well as a link they could put into Amazon if somebody wants to buy the book. And they just put that information in and hit enter, and it automatically shows up on that page of book recommendations already formatted to look like all the other ones. Well, the client couldn't believe how much easier this was than the old way they used to do it. And they thanked me several times for designing it this way. It wasn't what they wanted me to do, but I took it upon myself and figured that it was what they needed me to do. And I was right. The whole point is you need to be able to adapt your designs to fit the client's needs, not the other way around. Now, that doesn't mean you never have to do what the client wants, though it is often a compromise. And on some occasions, as I mentioned earlier, if you're very lucky, a client's wants and their needs turn out to be exactly the same thing. So in conclusion, when you give a client what they need, especially when it's not something they originally considered, they are more likely to be satisfied with the work that you do for them. They'll appreciate your out-of-the-box thinking. They'll feel like you took their needs into account and that you over-delivered. They will be so impressed. Remember, good graphic designers and web designers will take the time to learn about their clients and what they're looking for before even starting on any projects. So use your skills and your experiences to figure out what it is the client needs and then deliver on it. This helps ensure that the client will be happy with the final project. Now, this will be harder for newer designers. Knowing what clients' needs does come from experience. Oftentimes, ideas for new clients come from interactions with past clients. I knew how to create that page for the new book recommendations because of another web project I had done just a couple of months ago with somebody else. But that new knowledge I had gained allowed me to create something that this new client needed instead of simply what they just wanted. So the more you work, the more clients you deal with, and the longer time you stay in this industry, the easier it'll become. And this is when you will truly become a problem solver and not just a quote-unquote yes person, meaning someone who simply follows orders and does what the client wants. And when that happens, when you evolve to be a true problem solver, that'll open up whole new opportunities for your design business. Remember, your goal as a design business owner is to make money. And when word gets out that you can take what a client wants and turn it into what a client needs, clients will be lining up to work with you, and the money will just start flowing in. Now, I would love to know, how often do you change what a client wants and offers them what they need? Leave me a comment for this episode. I don't receive a lot of comments on these episodes. I would love to get one from you. Leave a comment by visiting resourcefuldesigner.com/episode 286. And let me know how you deal with wants and needs of your clients. Now, before I go, I just want to remind you one more time about the Resourceful Designer community. As I said, we've got several new members in there. We're in the process of getting to know them and them getting to know us, figuring out what's the best way to help them, and them trying to figure out the best way to integrate into the community. And we're having a grand old time doing it. Not a day goes by without several interactions between members, discussing all sorts of stuff about new things in the industry, asking for helps, looking at critiques, simply venting about something a client asks you to do. Those are always fun, and so much more. If you're looking to be part of a great community of designers, then I highly recommend you visit resourcefuldesigner.com/community and join today. So that's it for me. I hope you have a great week and work hard on delivering what your clients need and not just what they want. Until next time, I am Mark Decote, wishing you all the best with your design business and reminding you to stay creative.
Thanks for listening to the Resourceful Designer Podcast at resourcefuldesigner.com.